Okay, great. I'm here to, I'm just going to stop the video here so we can get some, make sure that we do not have any hanging of video, etc. And yeah, let's get into lesson 9 for today. I'm here on campus, so we hear some background noise. Standing here by the studios, and yeah, kind of, it's great for the ecosystem right now to talk about radio, right? Okay, we're going to have a short lesson on playback systems, understanding exactly what a playback system is. So, and just in short, obviously, this is exactly where, just give me a second, shouldn't be that loud. Give me a second. Oh, we're right here. Hold on. There we go. Turn the volume off. Okay. So playback systems, when we are in studio, we use playback systems to play literally everything from our music to our jingles, like our news, our sports, our personal jingles and IDs, our stings, and again, as I said, our music, our spots, our adverts. And there are a number that we can actually choose from, and we use to cater like our clocks, so we can have some automatic rotation. And that again, once again, is customized by our music compiler as well as our program manager in Tangent. Okay, so it's central software that component of that consists of components, and it is a component itself of what operates the radio station, like in a nutshell. It's proverbially the heart of the radio station, and a digital software that is a tool used by broadcasters to store, record, and play out any audio content. So I'm just going to, again, as I said, I'll read and I'll explain. Takes all of the audio content on your computer and collates them for one space where you can design digital, obviously, playlists and then play the audio out in order of your choosing. So playback systems have been around for a really long time. So, I mean, way beyond, close to, let's say 25, 30 years easily in the digital, I say in the digital space, where before we might have just like, so carbon copy playlists that we would take, let's say, playing songs into tape decks, moving into CD players as well, and to have some kind of basic digital software that would have a library on. Yes, it's true. Yes, again, with our jingles and whatever it may be, so we'd produce and then we'd upload to the playback system, and we'd use it for I wouldn't say menial tasks. We would have a yeah. Again, you're gonna have that kind of like ambience in the background. We use it for as much as we could, just to make sure that we would have control and combined control within the studio. Right now, we still have obviously the manual control that we do in terms of obviously using the desk for many different things. Obviously, we have up to 16, sometimes a little bit more channels in the studio itself. Again, as mentioned before, like each station will then cater and customize that particular desk with its different profiles for different teams and different jocks that are on air. We will use certain channels as well that will coincide again with the playback system in some other way through ISDN channels, DSD channels, whatever it may be. Okay. Playback systems can manage all types of audio, so music, imaging, and identification audio advertising, so again, our spots, etc., our PSAs, public service announcements, our news bites, which more than likely correlate on a different playback system, and pre-recorded content, as well as our vox pop, so our voice of the populi, vox of the voice of populi. So anything we want to include as additional content, perhaps in a call out, perhaps in a newsread itself, but we might want to include that again and understand the difference between sound bites, news bites, and vox pops, which are a little bit longer in general. Okay, the playout system is the final meeting point for everything. As I said, it's literally just like that kind of ground zero for where we want to operate literally everything that comes out of the speakers, to our listener. Most modern playback systems allow radio stations to automate their products. Ideally, what we want to do is develop the clocks in the background that we'll have a clock for every hour of every show, and then that'll be customized on a recurring basis. That will allow us to again and decide, especially on the music rotation, again, kind of like the spot breaks within heavy rotation shows and heavy traffic shows like our breakfast of drives, etc. Perhaps even our top 40s will be completely different to any other clock that you might see. Um, Mostly actually with the top 40s that the music is loaded, but it is loaded manually, and then the jock would have to go and then manually again execute those or play out those on air. Okay, in other words, no live radio presenter, there's producers, there's no producer or desk controller. It needs to be in the studio for the software just to go automatically to start playing. And we don't normally find that in overnights that we've spoken about before, in terms of, well, it can be understandable to a certain degree that in our community stations we'd find that there might be automated shows just because there might not be enough jocks that are available at certain times of the day, especially overnights. But the commercial stations have been doing this now for quite some time, and they do automate the overnight 1 to 4 p.m. in the morning, or AM, should I say, in the morning, which is again just a little bit of a loss to some wannabe upcoming great talents that could be using those slots to really learn and to get acclimatized to a corporate brand, the radio station's brand and audience, right? It's almost like saying, well, there's not enough care for people that are listening at that time, which are our overnight workers and our security, staff, etc., that do have the radio on and is playing. If we did not assume that someone was listening, then we wouldn't have music playing at all. And so, yeah, there is just a bit of a debate as to a bit of kind of it's kind of like passing off, you know, the essential need for talent. This can be pre-programmed and set in motion by a live presenter or producer. And once done, the software will play the audio without assistance. Okay. All right. So playback systems, although interfaces and the functionality of playback systems differ. So, like I say, we will be mentioning some like RCS and our Genesis, which are popular here in South Africa. There are um, a couple more releases that are being used as well, are available to use as well. And again, at community stations, there are there are lots of free software, many free software that are available that stations can download and just use to, do some very basic music playback organization, etc. Okay. So, all right. So we saw the music and the audio content on the server. Make sure that obviously that is backed up as well, and backed up again. We do have to have that as kind of like contingencies in case something does go wrong. We'll make it possible for audio to be played out manually or be set up for the playback system to do this automatically. Even throughout our shows, we'll have our autoplays, which we will stop and start depending on when we want to do a link and go on air. Allow the studio operator to edit audio on the layout system. So we can, let's say, load a piece of audio. We can go and then put some audio effects in terms of being able to normalize it, make sure that we clean it up, that we can mark off a beginning and an end point where, for example, something might be instrumental to something that might have a lot of dead air towards the end, and we want to cut and make markers, create markers for, again, the kind of say the autoplay from one to another piece of audio, so we can have a smooth transition. We can enable a search function to find audio that we want to play out. We allow a few audio pieces to be played out at the same time. very few. Again, we don't want that kind of like that clashing, especially if there are vocals that are involved. Include a pre-programming assist function, import music logs and imaging from music scheduling software systems, and then we want to import audio advertising logs from advertising scheduling systems. So you can see that there are many subsystems that will be incorporated into the playback system. The playback system has to have the ability to incorporate these external systems or subsystems that could be made and probably are made by the same software developer that has developed the playback system itself, just so that like I say, the coinciding of each subsystem and sub-software is quite clean and not messy. But there are obviously systems, again, like with our traffic systems for advertising and such, that are independent, or our news systems that are independent, and we do find a way to integrate those systems together. So most systems will include an ecosystem of software programs, as I mentioned before, and differing hardware. So the ecosystem could include main playout interfaces, where presenters, controllers, or producers can play out the music on various broadcast channels. So the software includes the following tools: ability and drop audio, the ease to use sound queuing and pre-fading listening ability. So in other words, that's when we will, let's say we have something playing out on air, we would find that we would press the pre-fader, so we can maybe listen to a voice note that's coming in, or the beginning of a song. When we listen to the quality of a song, it doesn't really matter. We can just pre-fade that, and just on the same channel that we are, let's say, lining something up into our playback system and into, like I said, the correct corresponding channel, we can listen to something off air, quote unquote. Okay, we can also pre-fade our telephone lines. Let's say that we want to speak to someone off air before putting them on air, which is a mandatory, very common part of being able to run your show. We could do that as well through our pre-faders. Looping introductions, so we do have the ability to have a little bit of kind of like sound editing, extra abilities, intro and outro counter and countdown displays. So as I was saying before, if we note that, let's say there's a bit of a long instrumental count, like intro, we would have a counter that would indicate, like, let's say 9, 10, 9, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, so that if a jock would like to speak over the beginning of a song without crashing vocals, they would be able to, and it would be fine. It would fine. And then again, just in terms of an outro, if let's say there's a fade, like there's a bit of it has a deprecative, there we go, deprecative outro, which means it'll just kind of fade out. We don't really want that, in a let's say a double play or triple play. We want to be able to mix that kind of that fade out with the jingle in between, maybe go to another song, etc., and keep it quite tight and clean. Automatic audio linking into the next sequence of pieces of audio. Okay, so again, with playback systems, let's just keep going. Editing options to edit sequences are available between linked audio pieces. So let's say you've lined up music in the playback system itself. You are allowed to just double click on most systems. It's quite easy, and then rearrange like where the audio must begin. I'm saying the vocals must begin, knowing that, let's say, certain areas are marked in lighter or darker shades of whatever color, to show that there is, let's say, there's no vocals. So we could play back over and make the integration of the sequence quite tight. We could also obviously increase and decrease those intro and outro volumes. So again, very basic sound editing that is available to make this kind of, again, slicker, smoother, and real-time views of playlists, including history of what has been played. At the moment that we play something out, it'll go into a history. We do also have a log of what is available and what has been playlisted, or like auto-generated in terms of our playlist, so that should we, for any reason, lose a song, It could be within the pre-fade that we are let's say we're listening to, and we remove it from the playlist itself. We can go find it again within the log itself, just pull and drag it over to a channel, and then use it according to that. We can also, if we have to keep a, let's say, manual log that doesn't, for some of the reason, include the song, we can go and make sure that we can go look at the log or the history, and just obviously include that as additional music that we have played because we ran out of music that was scheduled in the log, and add that with details that are necessary. So we run in automation, single automation, manual modes, quick players, or immediate playback buttons. So there will be a section within the software where you can customize some quick players. Give me a second. Okay. All right. So as I was saying with the quick plays, so we would then customize those quick plays and make sure that, for example, our personal jingles are on there, our personal jingles for our features are on there. If we find that traffic and music and news is particular to our show, which it probably won't, it has to have like some kind of consistency, or the same consistency throughout the radio station. We still like those playback jingles to be on our quick players. So again, it's just like almost like a little library that is very customized, and we can recustomize it as we see fit for our show itself. So again, music scheduling software system, an advertising scheduling software system, import wizard to import any third-party scheduling data, and we report generators to produce comprehensive reports of playouts. That really helps us, obviously, when we go to Sanro and stuff like that, and we want to report like which songs were played and how long or how many times they were played throughout the month or the week or whatever it may be. Right. Okay. And the big thing is also, please, like, we need to note that there is a music compiler for a reason. So they will do their job in the full expectance that you need to do your job, which is always play music that is scheduled for you. Do not mess up with the rotation. Do not decide what you feel, what you want to play is what you want to play, because that is not how we do things, and you will get a disciplinary for that. Again, just because of the order of which things are done and why they are done in a certain way. As I said, there are several playback systems. There's RCS Zeta, there is web orbit solutions, BSI OpX, delay, and we have Genesis again, delay being, Genesis and RCS being more popular. So we find that there's a bit of a picture here to show you what RCS might look like. So we have our quick play over here that you can see here. We have our playlists coming in there with our histories that are sitting there. We can also view anything that's got like a cover or whatever it may be here. So again, also used by the SABC systems. Oops, just go back here. Okay, so that web audit. Web orbit solutions. Quite so we look at that in terms of and it's quite a simplified playback system over here. We see the history that's also sitting over there. We have a library, right, that we can choose from, and then we have here we have our quick plays. It looks like I'm not familiar with web audits, but that's quite easy to determine. Okay, just move that down a little bit here so you can actually see that. All right, then BSI OpX, kind of the same things. That we have our we have our playlist that is there again with those kind of those quick access links that you can just click and play. Obviously, the movement up and down throughout what is set up for our playlist exactly, and then what is being played there at the top, as you can see there. There's a bit of a time and such. Okay. Delay shows even some, so we have a little bit of an extension of the audio wave itself. Okay, there is the playback, so the library that is the library, I would say it's the playlist. Okay, that is lined up with commercial breaks. We have some IDs, etc. We have then songs that are listed as well, and so on and so forth. And then we have Genesis, which is quite popular again. There is our playlist. Okay, there are some buttons there for the login history. We've got our quick play, we've got a library over there, and we've got 4 channels that are listed over there. Okay, so other playback systems, other systems may come across RCS Master Control. But from old system, you will always go to RCS for updated training, and that's as a music compiler. Encodad, Sysis, DIRA, radio host, so very old system, Radio DJ, but they both work. I mean, I worked in Radio host back on campus, Simeon, and that's very good. Okay, so the homework, please, that you need to complete is by reading through the example on 7A, and then complete the activity 7A questions 1, 2, and 3, and 7B questions 1 to 3. So I'm going to just stop it at that. And we're going to